Okay, guys. I should have got this out earlier a little bit, but like, I'm glad we're doing it today. Woodland of Lies. Here we go. I'm gonna just break down what that is for you guys before we start. The Woodland of Lies category consists of 7 songs, those being Alone, Oh God No, I Hate You, Thalassophobia, Apparition, Last Course, and Dark Forest. That's by free play order. The category is themed off of unused content, room, urban legends around the internet, and lastly, Super Mario World creepypastas. 2 of the songs I mentioned are based on the same creepypasta. I will go over that in a minute. So I'm going to say which source each song is based on. Alone is based on what Luigi's Mansion would have looked like. Oh God, no, and I Hate You are based on a creepypasta named after the latter. Thalassophobia and Apparition are based on urban legends for Super Mario 64, where there was the L is real theory, which is themed off of the absence of Luigi, which somebody found a model for him 24 years later. Well, 24 years and a month later, actually, which the 2401 is supposed to stand for. There's also a myth called the Wario apparition, where the whole point of it was a boss that would just chase after you and it would just disappear if you outrun it. Last Course is actually based on something on Twitter, and then Dark Forest is based on the Coronation Day ROM hack. Okay, now that that's over, let's get things started. Okay, for 7th place, this one is an extremely hot take, but I think Thalassophobia might be last. Because I just really seem to forget that this song clearly exists. Additionally, there's literally Abandon, which is in the classified castle category. And it's also based on the same source, just in the classified version. Like, they're literally based on the same theory. So I could just listen to that and nothing would have been different, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I just find this song forgettable compared to the other ones, if I'm being honest. But I will say what I like the most. I think I do like the coin mechanic. Like, the coin mechanic is okay, but like, you may possibly die if you miss. Especially if you miss by accident. Like you might actually die. Wait, do you die if the meter reaches low enough? I think you do. I forget. And still. Anyway, next. For 6th place, we have Dark Forest. I know placing it in last would have been more suitable, but I think that's just a little too predictable. Additionally, I am starting to enjoy the song a little bit more. Like, my original score was a 7, but like, I bumped it up to a 7.5. It may possibly be an 8 if I'm being honest. And I can actually understand why people would say this is actually really low on their list overall, let alone for this category. Let alone for the whole mod, actually. But still, I still understand people. Like, at least I understand where they're coming from when they say this song is actually pretty low. Fun fact, someone did actually make all of the Melodies of Sorrow songs in a unique way, at least with the playable extent. Someone literally added the cape feather mechanic from, what was it? Super Mario World, which is actually what this is supposed to be based on. Yeah, funny enough, that cape feather animation that Boyfriend used was from I Hate You when he knocks Luigi into lava, which kills him for good. Okay, another thing is Coronation Day Peach also moves around in said version. And someone also marked it as a deluxe version. Also, I did hear that Dark Forest and some of the other songs composed by Kenny will be getting an updated instrumental. Nourishing Blood is one of them. The end of V2 is obviously coming to the Resource update, or maybe the deluxe update still. I might take the whole end of the video to explain what the Resource update is for those who don't know what it is. Or I could just explain it in a pinned comment. Why not? Like, that sounds better because, like, I think that'd just be a bit of a waste of time. And if I'm being honest, I can't agree the song could be better, but it could have been worse. Anyway, let's get to 5th place. I think this is actually a song I hyped up way too much before, but sadly, I wish it could stay in 1st place, but sadly, I just don't see the point of it being first. I just think only 2 songs are inferior to this one. As I said, we're 7th to 6th place. 5th place goes to, sadly, but actually understandable to some extent, to a really minor extent actually, Apparition version 2. Now, don't get me wrong, I can understand some of the criticisms that are going to it, but like, the main issue I have with the criticism that's going for it is the vocals for the Wario apparition. I really don't get why people were criticizing the vocals, saying it sounds quote unquote too robotic. I listen to Apparition V2 on a daily basis. Yeah, I don't hear anything robotic about his vocals. I also don't understand how people are saying V1 is like better, has like better vocals. The vocals sound extremely goofy. Well, in a good way at least. The reason I like V2s a little more is because they actually sound like what Wario sounds like from the Mario series. V1 doesn't even come close to sounding like it at all. It just sounds extremely goofy to listen to. And really laughable, if I'm being honest. But there's one thing I can say about Apparition V1 is that I think that's probably the best song in V1, actually. Yeah, I might do every V1 song, but like... But I know it's gonna sound extremely stupid, but like, I'm going to use the V2 sprites instead of the V1. They're just better drawing compared to V1. Except Racist Mario, who doesn't even get an updated design in V2. There was supposed to be one, but it just got taken out. Or at least the files were lost. So, say adios to that. Maybe the Resource update or the Deluxe might change that. Hopefully. Some people technically do have a point that Racist Mario could use a better art style to it to be more accurate to the animation. But I just think he's the only one that actually looks okay. I think Boyfriend and Girlfriend could use some improvements in their designs. That's the only thing I think needs updating for that one. But still. Also, I want to deliver a bit of a fun fact about the Wario apparition. There actually is a bit of an inconsistency with his design for the community. Some people don't have the green hypnosis eyes in his design, while some do, like this mod, for example. Some sources also have him have actual eyes instead of just being completely white eyes like Herobrine or something. Like the classified mod has him have genuine eyes. I think he had actual eyes in the original, like design for the character. While he has completely white eyes in most, like, counterparts. Even Maniac Mania Plus also gave him actual eyes instead of just having him be eyeless, just completely white Herobrine eyes. I was like, ever since Herobrine existed, some people actually have just the standard white, colorless eyes to their creepypastas. But overall, Apparition V2 is an 8 out of 10. So what would I say V1 was? A 7.5. Yeah, it's insanely close, but I just think V2 is better. Anyway, on to fourth place. For fourth place, let's be honest, the first three songs I mentioned at the beginning of the video are really close to each other. So fourth place is super obvious. Last Chorus. It's fourth place in this category overall for me. Like, I have no problems with it. All the songs that are in the top 4 are complete 10s. Or maybe 9s for that matter. This one's probably a 9, if I'm being honest. But this one has the potential on being a 10. I just don't know what it's missing. But Last Chorus, fun fact, I feel like out of all the songs in the Woodland of Lies category, this might be the hardest one to really get 100% on. That means you have to press space every time, get all the notes. Someone did the whole category like this. Fun fact, that dude's also the inspiration for most of the thumbnails for these ranking videos. So, I'm also really sad that this one was going to be taken out of the game. Because if you want to know why it's being taken out, it's because the creator of Turmoil, who's the opponent for Last Chorus, really didn't want to associate with the community anymore. So he just left the internet. I really hope there's going to be a song or maybe another character to replace him. Maybe both, actually, if I'm being honest. But if there's one character I hope does come back in Turmoil's spot instead, I think Victim 1, if I'm being honest. But some of y'all say Pico is the one better off going against Victim 1. But I think, as I said in the previous ranking video, I think the excuse for Victim 1 being scrapped was actually not only stupid, but also pretty hypocritical. As well as some of the characters in this mod themselves were also used a lot. It's not just Victim 1. Others are overused too. I think Marco Antonio should have knew that before scrapping the character. But let's put Last Chorus in fourth place and move on to third and second. Because first place is pretty much untouchable in comparison to the third and second place spots. For third and second place, these two were get super obvious. I just said they were based on the same creepypasta. Oh God No and I Hate You. Now, if you want to know, I forgot to point this out. Oh God No was actually named at a secret level in the I Hate You creepypasta. So, but I want to deliver a bit of a hot take. I think Oh God No is a little bit better. I just think it's more creepypasta accurate. But how so? Well, even if Mario was still in place of boyfriend and girlfriend in I Hate You, there actually are some inaccuracies with Luigi's design. That being that the eye that he has in the ending screen is on the left socket in the ending screen. In his Mario's Madness design, however, it is in his right socket, actually. Yeah, that's actually a minor nitpick. This isn't really much to really take off a point or at least half a point, because this seems like too much of a minor nitpick, if I'm being honest. This is just something I wanted to point out. Yeah, it's kind of something they got wrong with the original design. But still, I just think Oh God No is catchier to listen to anyway. For first place, we got Alone V2. This is the moment you've been waiting for, haven't you? The song is super depressing, yet it has the mix of, being rhythm themed. Now, and I say depressing because Beta Luigi, the opponent for the song, is basically super sad that his brother is trapped in a painting, which you'll see him at the last minute and 20 seconds, I guess. And trust me, his part is the absolute best part. I just love the singing. This is probably the most unique song of the whole mod, since Beta Mario is probably capable of being the only character without genuine chromatics, which is easily what makes the song more, unique. Compared to not only the other songs in this category, but in the entire mod as a whole. Instead, he just sings along. You can actually hear it much more clear in the instrumental, which is playing right now. Also, I do apologize if I'm not uploading that much. I've been focusing on the Miraculous Fantasy World series. I know the title is a little off for the series nowadays, since I'm giving Adrian the lead role. But to add on to Alone V2, before I get to any other minor announcements, yeah, throw something away if you actually heard something. That was just me throwing away a piece of tissue because I had to clean out my ear while I'm having a discussion with you guys. Well, anyway, and there's one thing I can also add to Alone V2. Compared to all the other V1 songs, I think Alone had the biggest upgrade. It was originally a 5 all the way to a 10, actually. Yeah, a 10. At first, also, this is also like the biggest upgrade, like the biggest position increase of any song. This is originally 5th, I think. I think I originally had this as 5th. But now it's first place on the whole list, on this category at least. Would I put this in my top 5 though? Let's see. I think this is actually a comfortable spot in the top 5. Or maybe the top 3 if I'm being honest. There's actually a bunch of possibilities that could be in the top 5. But anyways, and once again, I do absolutely apologize if you guys actually were expecting more uploads. I was scrolling through some stuff, and I know people have announced these two things beforehand, but the Stella group is finally going into Reloaded. Now, this just proves, once again, this proves that some companies just don't forget old stuff. Especially things that made them popular in the first place. And secondly, there actually is a recolored version of Dahlia called Shade, I think. Some people were thinking that it was actually going to be Dahlia that was added into Angry Birds 2, but no. It appears that the character is a recolor to Dahlia. Or like a space version. But for those wondering what this character is, she was just a character within the files of the game. We really thought that Dahlia was going to be added into the second game, but nah. Willow was added into Bounce, however. But sadly, it's locked behind paywall on the Apple Arcade. Alongside Reloaded, which is kind of pointless given the fact that the game just reskins a bunch of levels from the older games. So that actually seems kind of useless to do that. And also, Valuable Valentine has been released as of, I think, the 22nd, I think is when I truly finished it. It was supposed to be finished by the 14th, but I couldn't get it done by the 14th. However, I did get Hugs and Kisses to make up for it. And sadly, I can't get another episode out this month, but expect to go green and get lucky sometime next month, as well as another, I guess, Easter themed episode? I don't know. Maybe that's for April instead, if I'm being honest. I guess I could do round 2 to Easter eggs if y'all want, since there's going to be a 15th year anniversary. And also, I do apologize for not doing the season's greetings. I think I did promise that one, but yet I didn't do it. Another reason, first of all, I will confirm that the events of that episode still happens within the Amazing Adventure series. And second of all, there was no ending cutscene or ending photo for that episode. That makes it probably the first and so far probably only episode in seasons that doesn't have an ending photo or a cutscene to it. Trick or Treat had one. Hugs and Kisses had an ending photo. But I'm going to do a bit of an interesting lore piece. That being that the girl bird that Red was in love with will only appear twice in this series. You'll understand why. Like, she'll only appear twice physically, I think. Maybe she'll appear more if I can, but don't expect her to be a love interest for Red. Well, okay, she will be, just not entirely. You'll understand why. But I think the reason behind that is super obvious. Anyway, that's all for the Woodland Lives category, and stay tuned for the Content Cosmos ranking, where that one is themed off of Mario animations on the internet. Which those being the Super Bad Mario, Luigi's Day Out, The Secret History of Super Mario Bros. By the Mashed YouTube channel, Racist Mario by Flash Gets, and the Power Star animations by Daniel Sign. I forgot to point out that Pascal, I think his name is behind Super Bad Mario, and then Luigi's Day Out was by Hot Diggity Demon. I knew him for Fazbear and Friends before watching Luigi's Day Out. I think the first time I ever watched Luigi's Day Out was after listening to every single song within the Mario's Madness soundtrack. Specifically for V2. I never even heard of Mario's Madness until like 2024, actually. And that was also the year I started rewatching all of Tink's movies. And I also did hear that there's going to be a horror movie version of it for the Twisted Childhood universe. If you don't know what that is, that's kind of that's kind of the franchise that made the Blood and Honey movies for Winnie the Pooh. Yes, even Birdie was disgusted even knowing about this movie. But since I'm aware that the videos are made as a joke, or the movies are made as a joke, I have no reason to be super harsh on it. This is a massive yap session. And I apologize for that. I just needed something to extend the video. So, I guess I'll see you guys later. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the Content Cosmos ranking. That might come out next month.